Welcome back to another episode. I am Sticks. This is my best friend and co-host D-Lo, and we are Too Complex. We back at it again. We got an action-packed weekend of some football this weekend too. Playoffs are starting, but before we get into before we get into them topics, don't cut that out because I'm stuttering. We're gonna make it happen. Before we get into them topics, we got 3 things I need you to do for us today. I need you to like the video. Subscribe to the channel because y'all are showing out for Too Complex, man. Y'all making the subscriber numbers go up. So we appreciate and love all of y'all. But keep hitting that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you miss none of these bangers that we drop every single week. D-Lo, what's good with you, my boy, man? How you doing, brother?
Man, we talked about this earlier. I'm doing good though. I'm doing real good. I'm feeling good, but I feel like a little bit of we talk about this the last 4 episodes. It seems like
it got to be the last month, man.
It has to be. I feel like you remember in Pursuit of Happiness when a certain part of Will Smith or Chris Gardner in Pursuit of Happiness, a certain part of his life, something happens and he narrates and says, "This part of my life, that's what I feel like right now. I feel like this part of my life, this is sickness." Because we've been sick the last month, man.
I swear I've been sick the last month, bro. I don't know what it is. Like y'all will get over something, be good for like 3 days, and then be sick again.
Like, yeah, I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, usually we are fairly healthy, but for every month, the last 6 months, 4 months, we've just been bombarded with all kind of stuff. But to my understanding, it's not just us. A lot of people have been getting some type of illness or cough, lingering cough. Strep throat is, I guess, rampant right now because that's what the doctor was telling us. Like it's common for a bunch of people to come in and then come back a couple months later with the same thing. So other than that, man, other than the sickness, I've been doing fairly well, gearing in, settling into the new year, understanding what it's supposed to do, figuring out, how to attack my goals this year, trying to figure out how to attack the podcast and, achieve all the goals that we wanted to achieve this year. So other than that, man, just doing good.
Facts,
what about you?
Facts, man. Same thing. Other than the sickness,
but other than the sickness,
just trying to. I mean, I ain't. Knock on wood. I ain't been sick in a while, so hopefully I don't get that. But it's coming. It is coming into the cold season here in Washington, bro. Like it's crazy how. And I always used to talk about how bipolar the weather was in North Carolina. Nah, here, bro. Last week it was like mid 50s, low 60s, or maybe like low to high 50s all week last week. This week, low to high teens. Like it's been cold. As of right now, it's 15 degrees, and it's like, good gracious. So we had a crazy cold front come in and. my lady hit me up on the cold front was supposed to come in until like today. She hit me up on Sunday and was like, "You gonna be okay?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" She was like, "Yeah, are you gonna be good this weekend?" I'm like, "What? Just spit it out. What are you talking about?" She was like, "Yeah, it's supposed to be like a blizzard." I'm like, "A blizzard? Like what? I live here and I ain't heard of that. You already trying to take precautions? Like what's going on?" But nah, she just she just trying to make sure I'm good, and she worries about it a little bit since y'all all the way over on the East Coast. So it's all good, man. But trying to gear into the new year with the goals too, man. And I had and I'm gonna be a little vulnerable right now, if y'all don't mind, bear with me. I had a moment of, I ain't gonna say, well, I had a human moment yesterday, basically with some goals with the new career and kind of feeling like I don't have, I do have it, but it's not close to home. Like I'm not close to home to where I could just tap into my support system and get that love that I needed. I had a moment of weakness and emotion yesterday. And it's funny because I had to look myself in the mirror and tell myself, like, give yourself some time. You know what I'm saying? Like give yourself the time to settle into the new career and learn the new industry. And this is something that you haven't dealt with in your whole life, from sports to your working career and stuff like that, to where you felt like you're not up to par. So it's kind of a hard feeling to kind of grasp a little bit. So I mean, and even with the podcast, I feel like, you know, we're doing what we like to do. It's a hobby for us, and we feel like we're good at it. So even with this, even though we're new, I feel like I'm.
Some people would beg to differ.
Some people would beg to differ, and you know, whenever you have a quote unquote platform, and you say different things, the people who are scared, like you said to me the other day, the people who are scared to do what we're doing are the ones that have the most to say, the most opinions, but won't do it themselves and won't get on camera and do it themselves. So benefit of the doubt to y'all naysayers in the comments. But sometimes whenever you're going into a new arena, you have to give yourself time to actually settle in and learn what you need to learn to be great at what you do. Because going into this insurance industry, bro, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I'm good at sales. That's what my position is. I'm a salesperson, but I have no idea what I'm doing. And I felt like a disappointment in a lot of ways because I was like, wasn't grasping it fast enough and this, that, the third. I just got to give myself time to do that. But I just kind of felt a moment of weakness in the sense to say like, damn, I don't know what's going on. I've never felt this before, but just give yourself time, man. Just give yourself time. That's all it is. I posted that on my story yesterday because I was like, it just feels foreign, so to speak. So I'm trying to settle into the new year, the new career, and the new goals, and we're gonna be straight. We're gonna be good.
Yeah, man. Give yourself some grace, especially because this is a new industry for you. The role of sales is not new to you, but the information that you have to put out, or the information that you have to digest, and then the questions that you put out, while the format may be the same, the information that you are giving to the customer is not the same. So you have to like really digest that, understand, you know, when you say something and you may get a different type of objection, not only do you have to understand that objection, but you also have to put out that different information. So it's, yeah, man, if you just getting started, realistically in your role, you know, I know a little bit more about your situation than our listeners do, but you're just getting started in your role. So just give yourself some time and don't be harsh on yourself. I will say, though, you mentioned the weather. It's been crazy in North Carolina, too. It's just been raining nonstop, I believe. So, you know, it's a polar vortex that's up in the Midwest right now that's making it super cold. It might be stretched a little bit further than just the Midwest, but it also has brought a little front that in the Midwest and the Northeast, it's been snowing like crazy, but in the South, it's been raining and causing tornadoes. Well, we've been getting rained like crazy. I want to say we at least got maybe 4 or 5 inches, maybe 6 inches of rain in the last 2 days.
That's a lot for North Carolina.
It's been crazy. It's been crazy, man. So, I mean, it's sunny today, but
that's good. Yesterday,
it started out sunny, and then from 12 o'clock to 10 o'clock, rain. The day before that, rained all day. So, I mean, it's the weather's just been going crazy right now.
Yeah, it has.
Uncharacteristic.
It has been going crazy because here in the Pacific Northwest, like whenever I was talking about how that cold front was supposed to come and how the snow was supposed to come, when my lady was saying the snow was supposed to come, it snowed for maybe about because here it's always kind of like gray and rainy, and especially around this time. Summer is beautiful, spring is beautiful, but around this time it's like literally like 6 months of like darkness, not necessarily dark, but gray and overcast and cloudy and stuff like that. So you don't get a lot of sun. But it snowed. I was at work on Thursday and it snowed. It started snowing for like maybe like 5-10 minutes, and then it stopped. And all of a sudden, the sun came out, and it was like, hello, like what is this weather that we're experiencing right now? Because for the last week, it's been warm but overcast and cold and kind of rainy. Yeah. Then this week it's been hella cold. Then it starts snowing, and all of a sudden the heavens open up and it's sunny for like, it usually gets dark at like 5 o'clock, the sun was out until like 6:30. And I was like, what is going on, bro? What is up? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just weird how the atmosphere changes so much, man, in different climates and different areas of the nation. It's kind of crazy, bro. Mm-hmm. It's insane. But so when we were growing up, we witnessed greatness with Tiger Woods, bro. Tiger Woods was the greatest golfer I have ever. I didn't even watch golf before Tiger Woods. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we even got some comedians in movies talking about someday Tiger Hoods because how he was so iconic and polarizing in the game, especially for our community, the Black community.
Yeah, he definitely changed the game of golf.
Definitely changed the game of golf. And he ended up going pro after he won 3 straight amateur titles. Ended up going pro back in 1996. Mm-hmm. And he ended up getting a $40 million endorsement contract with Nike in 1996. Mm-hmm. Now, at that time, that money was unknown to anybody, especially endorsement contracts. And
you got to think, Zion Williams not too long ago just got a 97 or like something $1 million contract, and we was like, wow. So in 96 get 40 million
to get 40 mil, crazy. Yeah. But and his dad was iconic in quoting that was chump change. But then I guess Nike agreed because back in 2001 they ended up giving him $100 million, and then 2006 they gave him $160 million. I mean, 2001 they gave him $100 million. 2006 they gave him $160 million, and then 2013 they gave him $200 million, which was ended up being the contract that he was just currently on. But all good things come to an end. This is what they say. That's the cliche. So after 27 years, Tiger Woods and Nike have ended their partnership. Question to you, D-Lo, man. Was it about time for Nike and Tiger to part ways, bro? Was it about that time?
So first of all, you would have thought with everything that you just mentioned, with the type of player to the game of golf and just sports in general that Tiger Woods was and is to sports, you would have thought he would have been a lifetime contract member for Nike, just like LeBron, just like Kevin Durant, just like Cristiano Ronaldo. Unfortunately, he wasn't. So I definitely think with all that being considered, it was certainly about time for Nike and Tiger Woods to part ways with each other. The writing seemingly was on the wall for those two for a multitude of things. But as you mentioned earlier, Tiger Woods was arguably the greatest golfer of all time. Many analysts, many individuals say that he is the greatest golfer, even though he fell three majors short of Jack Nicklaus with 15. Jack Nicklaus had 18. He tied what's that dude's name?
Sam Snead.
Yep, Sam Snead of most wins all time on the PGA Tour. He tied with 82. But Tiger hit some rough patches in his career.
He did.
Right after he had the off. I'm not going to say all that, but off the course challenges he had, he kind of went up and down. And then as of lately, he's kind of been, he's still Tiger Woods. Everybody still comes to the tournaments to watch him just because of who he is. And like we said, changed the game. But, he's not playing how he's playing Father Time, and the injuries have kind of caught up with him. So, Nike stood by him through all of those off-course challenges. But as of lately, also Nike has been going through their little rough spots with the stock has been going down. And then they've said in their earnings reports meetings that in the next 3 years, they're going to cut $2 billion within production and whatnot, and try to really focus on certain products. And so with all that being said, with Tiger Woods not being a lifetime contract athlete with Nike, they're going to try to find ways to cut as much fat off of what they're doing at Nike as possible. Golf isn't really something that they considered themselves a specializer in. In 2016, they got rid of hardware that, golf hardware that that Tiger was front and center for. So they're just trying to cut as much as they can. Tiger Woods would probably, if they were to sign him to another contract, being the fact that he just coming off a $200 million contract, he'd probably have to go up again. So that being said, they were like, all right, yeah, we got to part ways. And they both seem to, it seems like they've made it an amicable split. But I mean, we really don't know. Tiger's a true professional in the sense. So I don't think he's going to put any drama out there that there may be. But, there still remains to be seen. He says it's going to be another chapter. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man. And just to kind of reiterate off of what D-Lo said, man, they did stick by him with a lot of stuff. The thing that, just like D-Lo said, with his extramarital affairs that he had, and when his schedule was reduced because of the leg injuries and the back injuries and the fusion surgery, saying that even after the back fusion surgery, we witnessed him in pain win that Masters, like off the tee. Driving off the tee and grabbing his back instantly. Like, we saw him fight through that 2019 Masters with that fusion surgery, bro. So like they when he turned pro in 1996, they took a risk on this guy to say he all he's done to this point is win 3 back-to-back amateurs, and he was remarkable in them things. But they say, you know what, we're gonna give this guy a contract and see where he goes. And he went to the moon, dude. 15 majors, 82 PGA victories, like went to the moon with it. And he's got 5 green jackets, man, and he's like the most polarizing, even past Jack Nicholson, even past Sam Snead. Like, he's Jack, I'm talking about Nicholas. Sorry, I'm thinking about movies. But yeah, but even past those guys, he's been the most polarizing golf athlete of all time. Like, when you think about golf, a lot of people are going to think about Tiger Woods. They're going to see Tiger Woods, and it's just
polarizing.
Crazy. But yeah, I think he is the most polarizing
after all of the issues, you would say.
Yeah, 100%. Because everybody knows the challenges that he's had. Everybody knows the injuries that he's had, and I mean, there are more people than just Tiger Woods that have those same issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not giving him a pass for the things that he did. You know what I'm saying? Because infidelity is infidelity. But at the same time, if you were to go outside and poll 100 people, no matter the race, no matter at least within our generation, no matter the race, and you say, what's the first name you think of when you think of golf? I guarantee you 75% of the people will say Tiger Woods. Probably more than that.
Yeah, but I don't think it's polarizing though.
What do you?
That's my opinion. When you think I don't think it's polarizing.
When you think polarizing, what comes to mind when you think polarizing? The word polarizing.
When I think of polarizing, I mean there's a ton of people that hate him, a ton of people that don't. I mean that love him. LeBron comes to my mind when I think of polarizing. It's basically a 50-50 split of people that's like, I can't stand LeBron, and then it's a 50-50 sprint of people that love LeBron.
Love LeBron.
I think in Tiger's instance, in the golf world,
he's iconic.
80% of people love Tiger. And you have a small portion because of what he did off the course and all of the challenge that he went through. They use that as a way to not like him. But what he do on the course, like I said, people go to tournaments when he's playing just to see him. He has the biggest galleries following him around when he's playing. So I wouldn't say he's polarizing.
What's the word you use? Would you use iconic?
Oh, iconic 100%.
Okay.
The reason it's Tiger Woods just had a bunch of great moments on the golf course that, I mean, when he started playing, golf was, as we all know, considered a white sport, country club sport. Didn't really have, black people, while we did have access to the game of golf, to be on that type of stage, or just to be in those type of courses, was really unheard of for us, and he broke barriers. Well, okay, so there is a collection of, I'm getting off topic real quick. There is a collection of Black people that don't like Tiger Woods because while his father was alive and a little bit before he died, he did tap into or hone into his Black roots because his father was Black. His mother is of Asian descent. I don't know exactly what, but she's of Asian descent. And then he went on Oprah and said he was Kablasian or something like that, Calablasian or something like that. And then so a lot of people became turned off by that because it's like he's trying to move away from his Black roots. But long story short, when Tiger Woods entered the PGA Tour and he started winning the Masters and all these different championships, he was one of the only individuals to ever win the Grand Slam or hold all 4 of the major events in the same season. You know, he broke a lot of barriers for Black people. And then it's just I think iconic definitely is
the word to use,
word for Tiger Woods, which is why it's surprising that he's not a lifetime athlete for Nike.
Regardless of how much money that Nike is cutting out of the budget as far as, you know, golf and things of that nature, I would have never thought up until I saw this headline. I'd never thought that. I honestly thought that he was a lifetime endorser with Nike. I had no idea in my mind. Whenever I saw it, I was like, for real? Like, damn, because Tiger is Tiger. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
I can concede that point to you as far as polarizing. I can see what you mean, because polarizing has a little bit of a villainous kind of feel to it, because some people like you know, when it's 80%, like you said, the people who love you, that's iconic. But when it's polarizing, you have haters and have supporters. So I can dig that.
Yeah. But legend, iconic, legend in the game, those type of words is what I think of when I think of Tiger Woods. Polarizing, I mean, I guess it depends on who you ask, what demographic of people you ask, or, you know, but I would say for the most part, especially golf fans in general, there's a lot of people that don't care anything about golf. You know, I golf. I try to golf regularly. I'm terrible at it, but Tiger Woods, you know, he's held in high regards, bro.
High regard. I mean, you even got one of the most iconic skits on the Dave Chappelle show, the racial draft, where he had him saying for shizzle, like, you know what I'm saying, like trying to dig into his Black roots. But, you know, whatever the next step in Tiger's career is, man, of course, you know, wish him luck. He's got his son, who is amazing. His son is an amazing golfer, so I know he's gonna take that to the moon and back when it comes to move forward in his son's career and keeping his career alive as well, and doing those father-son tournaments with him. But we have to see where it goes from here for Tiger, man. It's gonna be a good thing to watch, man. It's gonna be a good thing to watch, bro.
Yep.
But beyond the golf scene, the NFL playoffs start today, bruh. The NFL playoffs start today. Whenever you got to put up or shut up, this is the time you got to get it in, man. So with the playoffs starting today, you have the NFC, where you got San Francisco as number 1, and you got the AFC, where you got Baltimore as number 1. The Baltimore Ravens ended the season, Lamar Jackson going crazy. They beat the Niners. They beat the brakes off the Niners. They beat the brakes off Miami. Lamar Jackson is looking like the MVP this year. But you also got on the other side, you got San Francisco, who had a roll. They kind of limped into the playoffs a little bit with a couple of losses at the end of the year, and then they, you know, kind of picked it up in week 18. And we're literally watching TV to see if they watching the TV in the locker room to see if they actually got the number 1 seed in the first round bye. But they have an MVP candidate in Brock Purdy. Also got an MVP candidate in Christian McCaffrey, and they're going crazy as well. So, you know, San Francisco 12-5, Baltimore Ravens 13-4. They're the number 1 seeds. But you got some, you know, you got some teams on each side that are sleepers. You got some powerful teams on each side. But my question to you, D-Lo, who is the team to watch right now and on both sides? Who's the team to watch right now?
I mean, I think you said it in the intro. the team to watch on both sides is, and clear-cut favorites for both sides, is the San Francisco 49ers as well as the Baltimore Ravens. Both teams played exceptionally well this year. I think the Ravens went 13-4. San Francisco went 12-5. Both had, both had great wins in conference against contenders for the conference title, maybe even the Super Bowl. I hate to say it, but San Francisco dominated the Dallas Cowboys when they played them. The Ravens beat San Francisco. They beat Miami, as well as other teams that are contenders for the title, or considered contenders for the title out of the AFC. So I definitely think it's the Ravens and San Francisco that are the clear-cut favorites to come out and contend for the Super Bowl. Not only have the Ravens played well, they're also are getting one of Lamar Jackson's main targets back this week. Mark Andrews is coming back. Statistically, I think the 49ers are one of the better teams, just period, across the board, offense and defense in the league. But they're known for their offense because of Kyle Shanahan and type of offense that he runs, and the weapons that they have on that offense. So, yeah, I think we are expecting to see a Ravens 49ers Super Bowl.
Well, okay. So those definitely are the teams to watch. So let me pivot a little bit. Who might be your sleeper teams, I guess?
Yeah. So, and I was going to let you answer to see what you said, but you can never count out Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. You also have the Buffalo Bills in the AFC, and then in the NFC, the Lions have played well all year. I just think because they don't really have much playoff experience as a team. I know Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl with the Rams a couple years ago. They do have some individuals that have been on other teams that went to the Super Bowl or had some deep playoff runs. But as a whole, that franchise, it's been a while since they've been in the playoffs and even had deep runs. So, I think they'll maybe win a game, but then they have to rematch. If Dallas wins, they have a rematch with Dallas. And that's my other team. I think Dallas is gonna do it. They could be a team to be reckoned with in the NFC if they can pull it all together. Dak plays well. If the defense plays well, like they have been for the most part of the year, I think they're definitely a team that can make noise in the NFC. But we're just expecting the 49ers and the Ravens to do what they do. And injuries aside, everybody expects those teams to be in the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl. And it's crazy you say that, man, because I was in here doing some extra research last night, and YouTube was just in the background playing. I got a TV literally right here beside my setup. And whenever I got off the computer last night to go in my room and go ahead and get ready to get up in the morning to record, the YouTube was playing the Baltimore San Francisco Super Bowl from 2012-2013 season. I'm like, what? Okay, foreshadowing much, maybe a little bit, but people are expecting that. But I think on my end, the teams to watch, honestly, in the AFC, watch out for Houston. Watch out for Houston, bro, because CJ Stroud and Nico Collins have been dangerous all year. They have been dangerous all year. CJ, as a rookie, to throw for 4,100 yards and 23 touchdowns and 5 interceptions as a rookie.
Yeah.
But Nico Collins to have 1,300 of those and 8 touchdowns, like they have been a dangerous duo all year. And now they come in and they play Cleveland. Cleveland beat them in Week 16, but CJ didn't play because he had a concussion. So that could have played a different part into the game if CJ was actually there. But the Browns have a great defense led by Myles Garrett too, man. So I think. That's going to be a game to watch. That right there is going to be a game to watch in my eyes. So don't be surprised if CJ shines under these bright lights, bro, because he looks good. He looked like he might be low-key built for this. I ain't going to hold you. So that's my sleeper team on the AFC.
Yeah. it's just so when it comes to playoffs, man, we all know. Well, I don't know from experience,
right?
As far as actually being in the NFL, but I've heard. I know a couple of people that have been in the NFL. I know a Super Bowl champion. When it comes to the playoffs, man, you can't beat that experience, and that's the only reason why I gave a knock and haven't really even considered Houston as a contender. Now they have from how they played for the last year, nobody expected Houston to be in the playoffs, right?
Nobody expected.
So, and CJ Stroud, it's looking like the Panthers made a terrible mistake by
100%
Bryce Young over CJ Stroud, but that's neither here nor there. You just don't expect for them to play that well because the playoffs is a different beast than the regular season. And yeah, CJ Stroud's played well. Nico Collins has played well. Their defense has done their part to keep them in games, to give CJ an opportunity to win the game at the end. I just, when it came to like, okay, we're talking about 100%, we feel like they have a shot. I just didn't give that to the Houston Texans or the Cleveland Browns, even though both of those teams have had a surprisingly good year. Joe Flacco stepped in and has done amazing for the Browns.
He's played well off his couch, G. Off his couch. Came in and crazy.
Stepped in and played amazing for them. I just realistically don't see them winning the Super Bowl.
Makes sense. I mean, I wasn't saying that either one of those teams going to the Super Bowl, but I think that if you talk about sleeper, like the team to watch, I think Houston in the AFC is the team to watch. Now, my NFC team to watch. Now, if y'all haven't found out, for people who actually watch our show, I am a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm not, and I'm preface this by saying I am not one of those unrealistic Cowboys going to Super Bowl, this our year kind of. No, if they ask, I'm gonna tell you they ask. I'm that fan. I don't talk shit about the Cowboys. When they win, I'll be quiet because they disappoint. They have been disappointing me since '96. Since '96, they have been disappointing me. So I've been shutting the fuck up. I don't say nothing about these dudes.
What was that stat you said that they since '96? How many playoff wins have they had?
What was it? Wasn't it? I think it was
like 5 games.
They've went to the playoffs 5 times since '96.
No, you said they won only 5 playoff games.
Let me. You said. I don't think they've. Hold on. They've won, but they haven't. They haven't been to the playoffs much.
We're talking about America's team, quote unquote, and they've only since '96, since the last time they won a Super Bowl, they only won 5 playoff games. Make it make sense.
5 wins in the playoffs since '96. So you're right. That's how many it was. So
make it make sense.
It's insane. So my team to watch in the NFC is, you can probably guess who I'm about to say. The Green Bay Packers.
You think so?
The Green Bay Packers is my team to watch because, and this is why I say this. Jordan Love's been looking good in the final half of the season. 18 touchdowns, 1 interceptions in the last 8 games. Been playing amazingly. Whenever it comes to the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers, especially in the playoffs, the Packers have the Cowboys number every single time. Even going back to, did Dez catch it? I mean,
that was in Green Bay, right?
That was in Green Bay. Yes, that was outside in Green Bay. That was in Lambeau.
Most of the games since '96, the games between Green Bay and the Cowboys have been in Green Bay, I would imagine.
Most of them have. More than
50%, you would say, right?
Except for maybe a couple, like the here recently, because the Cowboys under Dak have had some 13-3s in there too, so they may have had, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
but the Green Bay Packers just have had our numbers, bro. Like it's annoying. Like every time, whenever late in the season whenever the Dallas Cowboys play Green Bay, it's like I'm on pins and needles because anything can happen in this game, especially when you got a quarterback. This year he hasn't been bad, but when you have a gunslinger, risk taker quarterback like Dak Prescott, like your Tony Romo's of the world, like they're going to put the ball in harm's way, and that's what usually happens. Especially last year when Dak led the NFL in interceptions, but this year he's been a lot MVP worthy. So I mean,
I think
it just scares me, bro. They scare me, dog. They scare me, bro.
I think you just argued against Cam Newton. You said Dak Prescott was a gunslinger risk taker, that wouldn't be characteristic of a game manager.
Hey, man. Whenever you lead the league in interceptions, you a risk taker. You a gunslinger. That's what they call Brett Favre. Brett Favre was a risk taker, gunslinger. He led the league in interceptions a bunch of times. So that's what they call Tony Romo. They called him the same thing. So, but to Cam's point, he's a game manager. He ain't a game changer. I think Dak is on that cusp. Oh, he's like walking a fine line. Yeah, he's walking a fine line between changer and manager, but that's neither here nor there. But the Packers is my team to watch, man. Only because they're playing Dallas. And I know how this rivalry is, and I know what this game means, especially in the playoffs. And so,
well, you have a couple things in your favor, I believe, with that matchup, the Packers and the Cowboys, is the coach for the last few times that they've met in the playoffs is on your sidelines now.
100%.
I believe the game is in Dallas. It should be.
It is.
Okay, so that eliminates the cold factor, and all of that mystique that comes with Lambeau Field. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm too concerned with that, but you know more about that rivalry than I do. I don't have a particular favorite team that I watch and follow. So, I'm not tied to anything. I'm just looking at it from a broad perspective. And, I'm not very good at picking games and whatnot. So everything I say, you could probably throw it out the window. But, from what I know about this season, I just feel like the teams that I mentioned are the clear-cut favorites.
Yeah, the clear-cut favorites for sure. The Baltimore and Dallas, the Baltimore and San Francisco are the clear-cut favorites to go to the Super Bowl. So, okay, then what's your prediction as far as conference championships? AFC, who's going to be in it? AFC Championship, who's going to the AFC Championship?
I don't know. I think in the NFC,
well, you have to say one of them is going to be. I think you say in the NFC, one of them is going to be the Ravens. One of them is going to be the Ravens. Who's the other team?
I didn't look at the brackets.
You got Cleveland. Know. You got Cleveland playing Houston. You got Miami playing KC, and you got Pittsburgh playing Buffalo. Of course,
well, I think
Baltimore's going to play the lower seed out of all of those games anyway, so it don't matter.
I think whoever. So the Kansas City and Miami game, they're playing in Kansas City. It's supposed to be cold as I don't know
it's
what.
Below zero, minus temperatures.
And Miami is like. They're fractured. They're a fractured team right now. They have a ton of injuries. So I don't expect, they had a great season, but defensively, they are missing a bunch of key pieces. Xavier Howard's out. Bradley Chubb is out. Phillips is out. Their Baker is out. It's cold. I know it's going to be a home going for
Tyreek Hill.
For Tyreek Hill, but he's basically hobbling, trying to play on a hurt ankle. Tua hasn't looked great the last part of the season. So I think, while they had a great year, I think Miami will be one and done, especially since they're not playing in Miami and it's going to be cold as I don't know what in Kansas City. So I think Kansas City wins that game. I think Cleveland beats. It's going to be a great game, but I think where's that game at? It's in
Houston. It's in Houston. Houston's the
okay.
seed.
Well, so since I think they're fairly even teams, I'm gonna give the green light for Houston.
You get the edge to Houston, okay?
I give the edge to Houston,
and then Pittsburgh, Buffalo. Of course, they're in Buffalo.
We know people on the Pittsburgh, but I feel like
Buffalo got it.
Anything could happen in that game, but I'm gonna say Buffalo because I said Buffalo is another team to watch that you could consider.
Yeah. So, and if that is the case, if what you say is true, then
it'll be Buffalo. I'm gonna say Buffalo and the Ravens in the AFC Championship.
Buffalo and the Ravens. Okay, I had Ravens and Dolphins. I had Ravens and Dolphins in the AFC Championship. The Dolphins.
I don't think the Dolphins.
I know that they're fractured. I know that they're fractured. They have some injuries. I think I think they go into Arrowhead and win that game. I'm not gonna lie. I could, but of course, we could be wrong. I think they go into Arrowhead, win that game, and then Miami goes to play Baltimore. Well, no. See, if that's the case, then I can't say it's gonna be Miami because Miami and Baltimore. Because if Miami beats Kansas City, they got to play Baltimore in the second round. So that can't happen. It can't happen.
Yeah.
So it's. I think I'm gonna go with you. I think it'll be Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Buffalo in the AFC Championship. If that's the case, I think it'll be Baltimore, Buffalo. I think NFC. I think it'll be Niners and Cowboys in the AFC Championship, and in the NFC Championship, I think it'll be Niners and Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree with that. Niners and Cowboys, and then go ahead.
And then everybody is expecting Baltimore and San Fran to be in the Super Bowl. I think it'll be Baltimore and the Cowboys. I think I think the Cowboys will go to the Super Bowl, and I think Baltimore's going to win it.
Okay, so I think the 49ers win it just because on paper and statistically they have the most even team. They're in the top 10 in statistical categories on both sides for offense and defense. So, everybody knows San Francisco for their offense for the most part. They have a great defense. Everybody knows that. But when you talk about San Francisco, you talk about Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuels, Brock Purdy, those boys, Ayuk, Kittle. You talk about those individuals and how prolific their offense is, the type of numbers that San Francisco puts up, the calls that Kyle Shanahan makes. So I just think, and San Francisco also has an argument that had Brock Purdy not been hurt last year, they may even win the Super Bowl last year.
Very true.
I just think
very true.
I just think they come back and try to redeem themselves, try to stay healthy as they can, and they're your Super Bowl champions for 2024. 2024. Damn, I say 2024.
We're living 20 years in the past. We still in high school or just get out of high school.
Ruben Stutter. This is my sorry for 2004.
This is my sorry for 2004. So there you have it, folks. I say it's going to be Baltimore Cowboys with Baltimore winning it. D-Lo says it's going to be Baltimore San Fran with San Fran winning it. So we're going to see. We got an NFC side. We got an AFC side. We're going to see what happens coming up in the next. When is the Super Bowl? What day is the Super Bowl? Did you see that?
It's in February.
It's in February for sure. So yeah, but we'll see come up in February which one of us was right. But if you think about Lamar Jackson's record against the NFC, if he make it, they got a sporting chance, like we said in the segment earlier in the week. But anyway. But I saw a post. I don't know if you saw this post on Instagram, D-Lo. And the heading for the post says, "Which of these tech features would you want to come to life?" So the first one says, "Face ID, but it takes a screenshot if it recognizes it's not you."
Okay, what do you mean? Come to life? Like
which one of these tech features? Which one of these tech features would you want these companies to put into effect? Right.
So go ahead. Yep.
What you think about that? Would you fuck with that?
So that was a feature. It was a third party feature. Like 5 years ago. I don't know where it is now. Yeah. Somebody tried to get into your phone. It would take a picture if they put in the wrong code.
Oh, that's dope. I didn't know that. So the next one was the Find My feature, like Find My iPhone feature, but it lets you know how often your friends check your location.
That's kind of vain to me. I wouldn't care nothing about that. But I mean, I guess somebody wants to know if people care about them. But not me. That's not something that I want.
But see, I think that's on the other side, right? Because I think people want to know, like me and my lady share location, right? We share location on our iPhones.
Yeah.
And most people want to know, like, is this motherfucker cheating? Is he really where he say he gonna be at type shit? Or where she say she gonna be at? So they want to know for their own edification, like, are they being faithful? Are they being loyal? I think it's a vain reason why people want that.
But you said maybe I heard that wrong. Didn't you say people want to know how many times somebody checks to see where their location is?
Yeah, it says Find My app on the phone, but it lets you know how often friends check your location. And then it gives an example. It says like Skylar Brown, this is a random name. They've checked your location 72 times today.
Yeah, but so for me, I don't care nothing about that. Like me, as the person, my phone, I don't. Now, the person that thinks this is hypothetical, that thinks I may be cheating, and that might be something of interest to them. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. But no, it wouldn't be, because you would see that I don't care about that.
So you would see, if they think you cheating and they constantly check your location, I would see how oftentimes they checked it. Yeah.
I don't care about that, because if that's the case, I would never share my location with them.
But then
if I was out cheating,
then on the flip side of that, then that makes you seem guilty if you don't share the location. You see what I'm saying? See how okay, there you go.
If I'm cheating, I don't care if they think I care. I guess I care. I care they think I'm guilty, but if I'm indulging in that activity on a constant basis, at some point it's got to end. Nobody's perfect. You're gonna get caught up. You're gonna make a misstep. So for me personally, I don't care nothing about that feature coming to life.
That makes sense. All right. So the next one is Spotify with AI. So you can choose any artist to sing your favorite song.
To sing your favorite song? Any artist?
You can choose, Spotify with AI. You can choose any artist to sing your favorite song.
I don't care about that either. Yeah.
All right. So the next one is calls, but it lets you know if they're looking at another app while they're talking to you.
Where'd you get this from, man?
It was on Insta, brother. It was on Insta. All right.
This is terrible.
The next one is this one to me was funny. This would be hilarious. DoorDash, but you can bid to steal another person's order while it's being delivered nearby.
That may be the most interesting one. That may be the most interesting one. How that would actually happen, I don't know. But that may be the most interesting one, because somebody, you might have ordered Chinese food or whatever, and somebody may have ordered from, I don't know, what's down
Cheesecake Factory.
or Outback or something of the sort, Olive Garden, right. And you're like, oh yeah, let me grab that.
Grab that.
That's as of right now. That's the most interesting one.
Yeah, and then the last one was contacts, but it shows what people have you listed as in their contact. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe that would be one. Okay, yeah, I like that one. The last one, I like that one. So like, I'm no longer in this lifestyle, but had it been a decade ago, or 7 years ago, 8 years ago, you meet Shorty in the meet her out. Y'all exchange numbers. You can see what she has you as, if you just like, was it random meal or free meal, something like that,
foodie call, I like type shit.
Yeah,
that would be a good one. Or do not answer type shit.
Do not answer, right. Yeah.
Nah, facts. So I think out of all of those, that's the one that I liked the most, was to see, what did this person have? Because that, to me, that's a level of, how do they really feel about me type shit. Like,
to some degree.
Then I can decide whether or not I want to continue with this relationship or friendship or not. Like, if you got me as do not answer, or don't fuck with this nigga, or piece of shit, you know what I'm saying?
Friend zone or something like that.
Friend zone. Yeah. Facts. Like, if
you trying to get in there.
Then you know what?
You can also see if that changes too, though.
You can.
So that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, you can also see if that changes. Exactly. So you can start off as a foodie call, but you're gonna end up as bae type shit. You know what I mean?
You feel me?
Me? So that was the one that I liked the most too. But the other thing that I saw too, D-Lo, that was more like nostalgic to me, was, I know you had a Game Boy back in the day, right? You had a Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, something of that nature. I didn't know until recently that nobody has ever beaten Tetris. Now, I remember whenever I used to play Tetris.
How do you beat Tetris?
So I can send this to you real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. My fault.
I can send this to you real quick. But there was a 13-year-old boy just recently this week that is the first person ever to beat Tetris. And the way it looks on the screen is that once you get to 999,999 points, the game just stops.
Okay.
So once you hit 1 million, the game stops.
Yeah.
I remember playing Tetris back in the day, bro. Whenever it started going a little bit too fast, time to cut it off. time to cut it off because my fingers ain't moving that fast to be like, oh shit, I gotta flip this and move it over here and then get this line to go. Hell no. Once it started moving a little bit too fast, it was time to play Mario or it was time to play something else because I'm not dealing with it.
Yeah.
This dude got up to 1 million points. The game stopped and he went crazy. The first person in the history of Tetris that game has been out since. That we know of. The first recorded person that actually beat it. I want to look at when this game came out because it had to be early 80s. I'm just guessing as of right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because
when did Tetris release?
Might be before that.
It was late 80s. It was 1989.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess so. Yeah,
Nintendo.
We were born whenever it kind of aging us a
Nintendo.
little bit, but it is what it is. But yeah, Nintendo. Yeah, so it was 1989 whenever it first dropped on Game Boy. So the first person, literally in 35 years, that recorded person in 35 years that has beat the game of Tetris. And I thought that was interesting.
The first person to beat it. Yeah, when you said the first person to beat, I was like, damn, how do you beat Tetris? So when you get to a certain point,
you get to 1 million. When you get to 1 million points, basically the game just stops.
So I guess for me, if we have never known anybody to beat it, how old was this boy?
13.
13, you said that. Okay. How would he know that he actually beat the game? Did he have people there from Tetris?
He was streaming. He was streaming.
Okay. And so just because
when you watch the video, you'll see that he gets to basically 1 million points, and there's no more blocks that there's no other block in the next because you have a next next block is coming up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, like, is there something that, like, is there like a celebratory screen or like
it literally when you watch it, you'll see the game literally just stopped. Stop being skeptical. The boy beat the damn game, dog.
No. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Tetris. Ultimately, what I'm saying is Tetris needs to have they need to come out and say that
he actually beat it. I get you. Right?
No, they need if that is the case of beating the game, they need to have a better way of showing that you beat the game. They must have thought nobody would ever get to that because
they must have.
if this is the first recorded person to beat Tetris, right? That we know if the game's been out for 35 years, nobody before that has beat the game. They must assume nobody is going to ever get to that point. But I mean, as a programmer, you're supposed to take every viable outcome into consideration and code for that. So you need to have some type of celebratory screen, confetti falling from the top of the screen like the blocks did before, blow up the blocks, put a title or something to say you've won the game. So at least
congratulations. Right. At least congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations to the 13-year-old Tetris. Y'all need to get on it, man.
And my bad, D-Lo. I ain't mean to jump on you like that. Pause. No,
it's all good. It's all good.
But nah, yeah, he's the first recorded person doing in the video crying. When you watch the video, you'll see like he is about to hyperventilate. But he was crying. I ain't gonna say crying, but he sounded like he was about to cry. But he was hyperventilating in the video. When you watch it, you be like, damn.
I guess that's an accomplishment. That's a major accomplishment.
I suppose so. To be because this game came out, he wasn't even thought of. Like this game is 21 years older than him. Like, what are you talking about, bro? But it's like that's I thought that was kind of nostalgic because I was like, yo, I remember playing Tetris, and if it started moving a little bit too fast for me, nope. Let's take this cartridge out, put Mario in because I ain't dealing with that. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Moving too
I just started building random stuff when it got a little too fast.
When you get to the top, time to start over.
Right.
Yeah.
Legendary Alabama football coach Nick Saban is calling it quits after illustrious career, man. Sticks.
Yeah, man.
So Nick Saban is retired from coaching after 50 years of coaching either collegiate or professional at the professional level. Saban's most notable head coaching tenure is being in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where he coached the Crimson Tide for 17 seasons. He leaves Alabama with a win-loss record. This is crazy, Sticks. 201-29. He's won 6 national championships, 9 Southeast Conference championships, so 9 SEC championships. He has produced 4 Heisman winners and 44 first-round draft picks, and has developed countless head coaches who have coached on his staff previously during that time span. So, Sticks, the question is for you: what is next for Alabama?
Bruh, 201-29 is insane.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Like, in your whole career at Alabama, all right, bet. Cool.
17 seasons. He only lost 29 games.
What is next for Nick Saban? So,
not for Nick Saban, for Alabama.
I mean, for Alabama, you're right. For Alabama,
we know. As far as we know it's next for Nick Saban.
We know it's next for Nick Saban.
Going fishing and golfing.
Well, there has been a report that he was gonna still be he's going to be some sort of liaison for the University of Alabama. He's still going to work there and kind of be behind the scenes, so to speak, not be so out in the open. He's not going to. He wants to be involved with the football program, but not be over the shoulder of the next coach, which we'll get to here in a second. But for Alabama, so you're losing. You're unfortunately losing one of the, probably, if not the one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. He had built a dynasty in Tuscaloosa. Even before then, when he was in LSU, he won his first national title. So he is an amazing football mind. He didn't have too much success in the NFL when he was with the Browns. Whenever he first started, whenever he went with Miami, he didn't have a very good. He finished with a 15-17 record as a coach in 2 seasons with Miami. So he didn't really have a really good professional career as far as professional football. But as a professional in college, in the college ranks, especially with Miami, especially with Alabama, the leverage that he had as a coach, not only in Alabama, but in the SEC and in the NCAA itself. Y'all saw what happened this past year whenever they jumped FSU. That man had, not to say that they didn't, we did go, I can't go back and say that they didn't deserve to be in there, because I did say FSU wanted to be in there too, needed to be in there too. But his prestige as a coach is so iconic that if they didn't have an SEC team in there, and maybe even if they didn't have Alabama in there, a lot of those views, as far as those broadcasts, that the SEC, CFP probably would have went down tremendously. And he campaigned for it the entire year, and they got in, and they played a better game than what a lot of people would have thought FSU would have played against Michigan. It was a great game, but Alabama. I feel like a lot of the players because he didn't say anything to anybody. He, kind of announced that he was retiring kind of out of the blue, low key. And even whenever he was recruiting some of these players, some of these top players that he was recruiting, he didn't let them know anything either. So a lot of these players are like, damn, we ain't no more Nick Saban. And that's the thing that we got to start teaching the kids now, especially with NIL. And I know a lot of people have probably said this before, but you gotta go to the school, not go for you got to go for the school, not go for the coach, because anything can happen with coaching programs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, anything can happen with coaching programs, but a school like Alabama and Nick Saban, you think that man is going to be there forever? Like, you never, because he's so great. You don't think Alabama's ever going to let this man go. They're going to keep him in his program regardless. You never think that. But the older you get, we always say Father Time is undefeated. So the older you get, the more you don't have the patience for it, or you don't want to do it anymore. You don't have the love for it as you used to. So it's one of those things where if you're going to a program, sometimes you got to think about the university and not the program, not the actual coaching staff sometimes, because something like this could happen. He has the number one ranked quarterback, number one ranked player in the nation going to his school. And now this man, he's already enrolled in classes, so he can't go anywhere. But you have to think that if he wasn't already enrolled, that he would probably use these 30 days because the transfer portal is open until February, that he would probably use these 30 days to probably go somewhere else, possibly because the coach that he came for is no longer there. So I think that Alabama will do well. I think Kalen, the new head coach is going to be Kalen DeBoer. He's the coach that just led Washington to the national championship. And they lost to Michigan. I think he's going to do well. He's going to have a challenge to me with keeping those guys who are already who have already committed to Alabama that are not enrolled in spring classes. And I don't think he'll have a problem recruiting in the future. I just think he'll have a problem with keeping these guys. But what do you think is next for Alabama?
So I think it's going to be extremely tough to replace Nick Saban and his 100%. Leadership in Alabama. I fully expect for the program in their standards and what they're used to for the last 17 seasons, I fully expect for them to go from being the upper echelon of college football to just being, at least for a small period of time, being slightly above average. You know, they'll have 9-10 win seasons, but that's not the Alabama standard as of the last 17 years. They're used to being, if not undefeated, only having 1, maybe 2 losses a season. So I think, Nick Saban's loss or Nick Saban leaving Alabama will bring them down for a little bit. But, Alabama has top-notch facilities. They'll be able to recruit, but will they be able to recruit the type of players that they're used to getting because of the NIL, which a lot of people have said that may have been one of the reasons that Nick Saban decided to retire, is because he was fighting with the NIL and all the discrepancies with that and unfairness that came with the NIL. Yeah. But yeah, I think the program's slightly, in their standards, they're down a notch or two. And then eventually they'll catch stride again and they'll win a national championship. It's in the SEC, so they're going to have their work cut out for them to keep that. Well, they're going to have to pick it later, but they're also going to have their work cut out for them to keep up with the standard that Nick Saban has set for that program. But I mean, you heard the stats that I rattled off, and this is why I think it's going to be hard for Alabama to maintain that standard. The stats I read off: 6 national championships in the last 17 years. SEC is considered the toughest conference in college football. They won 9 times in the last 17 years. Nick Saban had a 21 and 201-29 record in 17 seasons.
It's insane, bro.
You know what I mean?
That dude is
I read
great.
a stat. He set the standard. Like Alabama is considered the standard. Is considered the Michelin star, the gold star of college football. Like everybody tries to be like Alabama. Alabama was one of the first programs to have more than 20 plus coaches or so, analysts and all that on part of their staff. Now you see countless programs doing the same thing. Alabama was one of the first to have all of the amenities, the arms races, as you will. Everybody's trying to keep up with Alabama. They were one of the ones that have the first of everything of its kind. Right. And so everybody else is trying to do that. So, Alabama is the standard when it comes to college football. And so I read a stat, crazy stat, produced by ESPN that said no class recruited at Alabama by Nick Saban played 4 years without winning a national championship.
That's crazy. But you think about it. If you think about it, 17 seasons, 6 championships. Every 3 years you win a championship, basically. Pretty much.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Insane. That is crazy.
Right. So all that being said, I fully expect for there to be some disappointing seasons in Alabama, even with the great we'll talk about him shortly, even with the pedigree and the record that Kalen DeBoer brings from Washington to Alabama. I fully expect for there to be some disappointing seasons in that program for some time. And then, again, based off of the standard that's currently set for them, the numbers don't lie. Nick Saban was an exceptional coach, a great leader. He demanded excellence from his players and from his coaching staff, and the results are what you got. 201 and 29, 9 SEC championships, 6 national championships.
It's insane how the kind of coach he was. What do you think? How do you think DeBoer is going to do? Because if you think about DeBoer, in his coaching career, it's damn near half of what Nick Saban has done so far. But he's 105 and 12 as a head coach in his coaching career. So that's literally like somewhat half of what Nick Saban's record is. So if he keeps on this trend, he'll be just as good. If he keeps on the trend, right? But he was named Coach of the Year at Washington after leading them to a national championship and losing to Michigan. He's coming in with a pedigree of being a great coach. I mean, he has a damn near 90. Well, but he has a damn near 90% win percentage in his coaching career. So I think he'll be great if he brings his offensive coordinator with him. But they're saying that because his offensive coordinator, he was one of the ones that was he was the catalyst of that offensive coordinator. But if he brings him with him, I think he'll do great. But because the offensive coordinator, his name is Ryan Grubb. If he brings Ryan Grubb with him to Alabama, I think they'll do great. If Ryan Grubb gets elevated to the head coach of Washington, I think he'll have a little bit of a problem as far as finding somebody to be that mastermind on the offensive side that's going to be calling the plays. I think if he wants to, if he needs to campaign for Ryan Grubb coming with him to Alabama. But if I was Ryan Grubb, I'm taking the head coaching spot. Bar none. I'm taking that head coach's spot. If I'm Ryan Grubb.
If that's what he envisions for himself, which I imagine most coaches do. There are some that they don't want to be anything more than the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, or whatever it is. But most coaches get into the profession, they want to call the shots over the whole program. So
a lot of offense coordinators do, and historically, if you look at the coaching pedigrees, most offensive coordinators, especially great offensive and defensive coordinators, they end up being head coaches. Yep. So I think Grubb takes that head coaching spot, but DeBoer he's got some big shoes to fill. I think he can do it. Just being in Washington and actually me being out here right now, actually following the program and watching the interviews after the games and seeing the way he speaks, his intensity on the sideline, I think he will fill in nicely. I don't think he will have to build up to that pedigree of a Nick Saban, but I think he'll fill in nicely. I think Alabama has a good thing in Kalen DeBoer, but you heard the numbers that D-Lo spit out, man. That man is
crazy.
The stats is insane. No recruit has played 4 years without winning the championship. That is a insane stat. That is an insane stat to think about, because you're winning once every 3 years with 6 championships in 17 years. Yeah. He that dude. He that dude. He that dude.
So I don't know enough about Kalen DeBoer as a coach. You know, I obviously can look up the stats. Like you said, he's 104 and 12 over his career, 25 and 3 at Washington. Alabama must have really wanted him because his buyout from Washington was $12 million. I think Dabo Swinney's buyout, who if he was a hot name a few years ago when Clemson was running shot in the ACC and constantly being in the college playoffs and national championship. He was like considered the next in line if and when Nick Saban was to go. His buyout was $9 million. So they must have really wanted him. Must have really wanted Kalen DeBoer in order to say, all right, well, Alabama has money, so it's like they just throwing money. It is what it is. So to say, all right, we'll pay the $12 million, and then whatever his contract is going to be, which we know is probably going to be at least $4 or $5 million a year, maybe more than that. I don't know what they're willing to throw at him. But, you know, I don't know enough about him to really, truly give what I think he will do at Alabama. But he's stepping in after Nick Saban. Again, we just talked about the stats for Nick Saban and the excellence of the program that he produced at Alabama. Just because I feel like that is hard to match. I'm going to say it's going to be a step down, but I don't think it's indicative of the coach that Kalen DeBoer is. Again, just looking off of his record overall, and then his record with the Washington Huskies. And then, let's not kid ourselves. The SEC is a tough conference. He's going to have to bring it every day. He's going to have to bring his A game every day in season and on the recruiting trail if he wants to even be close to what Nick Saban and Alabama program was doing in his time there. But I mean, that I don't think he showed that he can recruit. If you look at he showed that he can recruit some. So if you look at the 5 seasons prior to him getting to Washington, the average recruiting class was, I believe, 27 ranking in the rankings. So they finished 27 in the recruiting rankings. And then in his 2 years there, I think it was 29. So, he's definitely, and Washington was, and I think they're getting back to, they were considered one of the better programs in the country before, as far as facilities and everything that they can offer.
The university is nice. I ride past it every day and going to work. It's dope. It's dope. The university is nice.
Right. So I mean, before he got there, their record was 4-8. Immediately that next season they were 11-2, and then they finished 8th in the final rankings, and then last year they finished 14-1. And then obviously they won the national championship, losing to Michigan. So I feel like his resume definitively qualifies him to be the next in line for Nick Saban and to take over for Nick Saban at Alabama. It's just, he's stepping into a situation to where it's almost like it's impossible for him to be right. And to have a long tenure there because of what is going to be expected for him to do and what's in place. They typically say when you get something, you want to leave it in a better shape than when you found it.
Facts.
It's going to be hard for him to leave it in better shape than when he found it.
Nah, that's facts, man. Just to give a little bit of context of his resume. So he started off in Sioux Falls, which is an NAIA team. His total
most of his career was in the NAIA.
Most of his career was in the NAIA. He's only had 4. He spent 5. Well, half of, because he spent 5 seasons at Sioux Falls with 67-3 at Sioux Falls at the NAIA team. Then he spent 2 seasons at Fresno State, was 12-6 there. And then he spent 2 seasons.
The head coach, Washington. Or he was a
head coach.
Okay.
Head coach. And then he spent 2 seasons in Washington, and he was 25-3. So 5 seasons in NAIA, and then 4 seasons Major 1A football. So he has a pretty good resume. I mean, the last 2 seasons with Washington definitely built his prestige up enough for Alabama to say, yeah, let's go get that guy. Especially taking the team to a national championship, because Alabama under Nick Saban has had a championship or bust kind of feel for the past 17 years. So they want a championship coach to take over that same prestige. So I think DeBoer would do well. Again, like I said, just watching him over the past year, maybe year and a half, whenever I started watching Washington kind of, a little bit closely, especially with us doing the podcast. I like his tenacity on the sideline. I like how he handles the media. I like how he talks about and how he talks to his players and his coaches. I think he'll do well at Alabama, but he does have some major shoes to fill for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if he was going to any other program, and he's winning 9-10 games a season, I think he has a long tenure there, or however long he wants to be there. But he's going to Alabama again, where they're used to winning 11, 12 games a year, being in college championship all the time, or at least the playoffs all the time. That's just, I mean, you got to think about it. At least in the last 10 years. Well, I mean, shit, more than that. Honestly, if we're saying every 4 years they won a championship, for the greater part of their career, Alabama has always been in the playoffs, always been in the championship. Yeah, so that's tough. That is tough to replicate. I don't care who you are. I mean, I don't know. I can't say much more about that. That is tough to replicate. He has some big shoes to fill, as you mentioned, and for him to come in and say, "All right, yeah, we're gonna keep that standard," to me is unrealistic, because you have others that were competing with Nick Saban on a regular basis that have good programs, and they couldn't replicate that. So I don't know.
I mean, when you're averaging if you're averaging being 12-2 over 17 seasons, that's going to be hard to. So you think if he has, say, 2 back-to-back 8-win seasons, they're gonna be thinking about getting him up out of there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying to you.
That's what you're saying. Yeah, I can see. I can see it.
Because automatically, you, like you said in your portion, you expect for him to lose some recruits in this particular recruiting class. Maybe even next year he won't even have as strong of a recruiting class as Alabama's used to. And we know it's about the Jimmies and Joes, not necessarily about the X's and O's. It's about who's on the field. And so if you don't have that talent, and on top of recruiting, now you have the NIL where you can pay money. And so all these colleges are doing it now. I mean, listen, it's going to be tough.
That's tough. That's tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be some tough shoes for him to fill. And I think he can do it. He just got to figure out a way to rein everything in and try to make sure that these recruits that he does have that have letters of intent or have committed to Alabama, how to make sure that he reins it in and keeps them there, and have them understand that he has to figure out a way to make people understand that he is going to at least attempt to, at 99% of it, live up to what Nick Saban has built. He has to figure out a way to get people to buy into that. And once he does, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. So best of luck to you, Kalen. Nick Saban, you had a great coaching career, especially at Alabama. I mean, I don't think we'll see anything like that in our lifetime, if ever. So, yeah. But speaking about NIL, man, when we were talking about Alabama and recruiting and whatnot, the NCAA seems to be tightening their rules with athletes in the NIL. So earlier this week, the NCAA voted to adopt a new rule to help protect athletes from agents with malice and unfavorable terms, malice intent and unfavorable terms in the NIL. NIL meaning name, image, and likeness, those type of contracts. The new rule would provide contract recommendations for deals, a registry of trusted agents that will be based on feedback from athletes who have worked with those individuals, and aggregate data that will help athletes to see the more realistic picture of the going rates for endorsements. On the flip side of that, the NCAA also proposed new rules that would help NIL collectives to facilitate deals between themselves and athletes, ultimately with the hope of restoring control over roster management for athletic departments and teams. Sticks, is it time for college athletes to form a union?
That is an amazing question, bro. Because if you think about it, you got the NFLPA, you got the NBAPA, you got players associations all over the world for all of these different leagues. You got players associations. Now that name, image, and likeness is coming to play, and these universities have the ability to pay these different players just to even come to a visit, $5,000 for a visit type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
That's crazy. So if you have the ability to start paying these players, and we even talked about how they were saying that they were going to end up getting, I forget off the top, I'll come off the top of my head what we talked about before, but how they were thinking about giving some of these players like literal like wages, like giving them like $30,000.
Oh yeah. The
you know what I'm saying?
President of the NCAA proposed that the colleges pay players in a trust.
In a trust, exactly. So if you can start giving these players trust, you can give them NIL money. They can go and market themselves to different universities through the transfer portal, and even before they even sign their letters of intent. If you have all of these options to pay these players, but the NCAA is constantly trying to protect themselves in the same instance, then we need a players association to protect these players as well. We need somebody. I don't know if it will be players who are currently playing or they hire representatives to represent them in the NIL discussion and debates and the trust debates and all of the money that they can make. I think it would be wise for them to have a players association. They need it so they can start putting contracts in place. They can start putting in what's the term I'm looking for? CBAs, collective bargaining agreements can be put together.
Yep.
Like, so that way the NCAA can protect themselves and the players can also protect themselves. So that way, cool, NCAA, you putting together rules for the players not to be taken advantage of outside of the NCAA. But what about y'all? You know what I'm saying? Right. Because y'all been taking advantage of these of college players NIL for decades prior to the last 2-3 years. So what about y'all taking advantage of the players? So how about we put together a PA and we put a CBA together and we start negotiating these things within each other, because the agents gonna be agents. They're gonna find ways to be slick. My agent was slick whenever I was in the NFL. He was slick. So they're gonna be slick regardless. They're gonna find ways to put things in the contract to where you pay them a little bit more than what you actually think they're paying. The 3% ain't really the 3%. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. So they're gonna be slick in some kind of way. They're gonna figure out ways within the paperwork. But y'all too, though, NCAA, y'all gotta be called to the carpet because y'all been taking advantage of players for the longest. So yes, D-Lo, I think it's time for them to put together a union or some kind of players association to help them as well. So what you think? What side are you on?
I mean, everything you said, I couldn't agree more. I think it's in the best interest of the players, of athletes, college athletes, to have a union in place because, again, like you said, agents, they'll find ways to be slick, but the NCAA has been taking advantage. I mean, we can't. They have been taken advantage of. There are areas in which it's nice to be a college athlete, or it's great to be a college athlete. You do get things that most individuals would dream of having while being in college. But there is a predatory aspect to the NCAA and how they've treated athletes to some degree as well. And so, if for players to protect their best interest now that they are able to get money from their name, images, likeness, I think it is in their best interest to have a union in place. I think it'll be a mesh. How they accomplish that would be a mesh of having somebody that is no longer a player represent them full time. Kind of like what the NFLPA does. I think NBA and all the other leagues are different. They have an actual active player as the president. NFL is different. They have somebody that's not active as their president, but then they have a collection of different individuals that are active and past players to be on that committee as a whole. So, I think they need to have that in place because just as with all these professional leagues, when they form their unions, they form the unions because owners and the league, they felt were taken advantage of, and they felt like they were getting shafted with not only their pay, but health care and those type of things. And so 100%, I agree with you. I think the NCAA athletes need to be starting or thinking, at least having discussions about forming some type of union. How they do it and how it gets passed and allowed to be, I don't know. The NCAA is definitely going to fight that, but it has to happen because you've now opened the door, NCAA, because you allowed them to get paid, and allowing them to get paid, you also have the right to somehow take it away without them having to say so. And so that's not how it works in America, or it's not how it's supposed to work in America. We know a bunch of corporations that don't like unions and whatnot, but but if you're paying me a certain wage, and then you have the right to decrease it whenever you want to or increase it whenever you want to without me having any input, nah, buddy. So yeah, players, I'm on your side. Form this union and figure out how you can keep it going.
I think
if not increase it.
Facts. I think this can work twofold for the NCAA, because I have advocated on this show a couple of times that there isn't enough guidance for these young guys who are making all this money to give them some kind of roadmap or give them some kind of advice on how to protect themselves from whether it be agents, whether it be women or men for that matter, whether it be a lot of different things frivolous things that they might spend their money on. I think this can work twofold. I think this can work in a way to help them protect themselves from the NCAA, but I can also say that depending on who they hire in this Players Association, if it happens, we just speculating. Whoever they hire in this PA or whoever they would hire in this union that we're proposing that the NCAA should do, they can have people with them to give these guys guidance on money management, money management, lifestyle, just player relations in general, to help them navigate these NIL deals, but also help them navigate once they move into their professional ranks as well, if they get to that point. So I think it can work twofold. What I think you do is you bring in somebody to be the president. Like you said, the NBA has somebody who is not a current player.
NFL.
The NFL has somebody who's not a current player to be the president of the Players Association, but they have current players as well. I think you have somebody like that situation. You have somebody who's not a current player, but has a lot of knowledge of legal jargon, but also has a lot of knowledge of the NIL as well as college football. But then you vote on you allow the players.
Well, it would be more than just my fault. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
It would definitely, they would definitely represent more than just college football. They would have to represent college athletes as a whole, because we know college it's not just football, basketball that have NIL deals, right?
That's true.
One of the richest NILs that we know of, or one of the richest recipients of NIL contracts, is the Olivia Dunn chick that's a gymnast at LSU. So right. So I mean, they would have to represent college athletes as a whole.
Do you think each individual sport has a union then? Or do you think it's just one union for the whole NCAA?
I think it's one union. Okay. I think it's one union for everybody, but the committee is comprised of multiple sports
makes sense.
That can get those NIL deals. Obviously, the challenge is going to be the fact that college athletes, up until the pandemic, college athletes were only supposed to have 4 or 5 years of active play in the NCAA. So how do you represent, or how is a collection of individuals that are only going to be there on average for 4 to 5 years, how do you represent them in a collective bargaining agreement? Because it's ever changing, that's going to be the challenge. But that's why I said I feel like it should be somebody that is not a current athlete, and somebody that maybe has a legal background to be the president, and that also has an athletic background. Somebody that's been in the shoes of these athletes across the board. So maybe it's a committee. Maybe it's not a president, but it is a committee of individuals that represent all the sports. They're maybe it's that sticks. Maybe it's a president for each individual sport, but they're the collection for athletes as a whole.
As a whole, I agree.
And then they can go to these meetings where the NCAA is proposing these rules and be the mouthpiece for players.
I think that'll work out very well. I think that honestly should happen. I think that should be something that should happen to be able to protect the players. Not, again, shout out to the NCAA for trying to protect the players from shiesty people that might take advantage of them. But the NCAA has historically been shiesty to the players in the NCAA. So we need to have somebody to protect the players from them as well. So I think that should be something that should happen. I think that'd be dope. I think that would be dope, and that would definitely protect both sides. Honestly, to me, that would protect both sides. That would protect the NCAA and have them be fair, and that would also protect the players and have them be treated fairly, but also not try to take advantage of the NCAA and the NIL too, because we do have some players trying to do that, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So I think it'd be dope for them to form a union.
Yeah. So Sticks, do you know or have you heard of the model Emily Pellegrini?
I have not.
I bet you haven't. So the new age of catfishing is here, my boy. Except this time. Except this time, they're going to take corporations' money because of the huge followings that they have. So Emily Pellegrini, for those that aren't familiar, is an AI model that was designed to be the epitome of the average man's dream girl. In a short span, well, when you say average, we know what the average man that they're referring to.
Yeah.
In a short span of 4 months, she has amassed 237,000 followers and has began to earn $10K a month from content sales, mostly on the site FanView, for her content creator.
Never heard of FanView either. Not gonna lie.
Me either. I haven't until I started researching this. Emily was carefully crafted by the creator after asking ChatGPT, what is the average man's dream girl? It returned long brown hair and long legs. Emily has garnered the attention of famous soccer players, MMA fighters, and billionaires. Based on a couple of different conversations online, generated this AI model face, but they're imposing it on actual individuals' videos and pictures to give the perception of this girl being being real to life. So my question, Six, I have two for this. How do you feel about this type of AI taking over social media? That's the first question. And then the second question is, if you are the person that this Emily is face swapping with, are you looking for some type of cut?
I'm gonna answer the first question. The second question first. 100%. Yes. I need my money on time. I need my money. But the first question. What was the first question again? Say the first question again.
How do you feel about this type of AI taking over social media? Because you know it's going to be wide sweeping after everybody realizes how to do it, figures out how to do it.
For sure. So
making $10K a month.
That's insane, ain't it? That's
yeah.
I didn't have no idea what FanView is. FanView has to be something close to OF, but either way.
Yeah.
So we remember catfishing with the MTV TV show where somebody is using somebody else's actual pictures, right?
Yep.
Now we have AI generated women who are, again, it's face swapping. So this woman's actual face is on somebody else's body, or they're taking her face to put with somebody else's breasts and another woman's butt or some other shit they probably do. They just contorting different things that make a perfect woman that what they think we like, right?
These are so you look her up.
I looked her up. Yeah, she on the Google right here. So
yeah.
So I think
the videos and pictures.
I haven't seen videos. I just see pictures right now. I haven't seen any videos yet.
Oh, you'll see some videos.
I don't. So
yeah, I mean it ain't that type of videos. But
I know.
They're Instagram safe, so to speak. If that's even a thing
that makes
now,
sense. Especially with AI.
I've seen some things on Instagram now, like that could be on Instagram.
Man, you'll be surprised that as long as you got something sheer over them areolas, you can show them. But
over the bullseye.
Over the bull, we want to see the bullseye. But back to Emily Pellegrini, right? So there's going to be a wave of this. Like now that this whole thing about Emily Pellegrini is out, who is an entirely AI generated woman that's not even real, and the fact that it's getting that this woman is getting noticed by professional athletes, and this is like an AI generated person. Like, this is insane. Like, who are you gonna date, bro? Like, who you marrying? You marrying your computer? That's crazy. but but I think it's gonna go crazy here soon, because the people who have already been stealing people's pictures and catfishing, it's not as big as it used to be, but AI generated catfishing is gonna go crazy, because there's so many filters that you can use already that makes you look totally different. But if you can have a totally different person that you can just say, okay, you can go to Chat GPT and say, I want to create a woman that has this kind of hair, these type of eyes, this type of body, and you can use that as your profile picture, or use it on these dating apps, or use it on wherever you need to use it, and garner this type of attention. Like, that's gonna be crazy. I don't even know how you would even how you can even safeguard something like that. Like, how would you even safeguard that shit? Like, how could you figure out, like, if say for instance, a single man sees this woman on Instagram, falls on her DM, they having a conversation, they fall in love, and or they decided they want to meet each other, and it ends up being Big Bertha down the road, and now you know what I'm saying? Like, that's gonna be crazy. Like, that's gonna be insane. Like,
yeah. So I mean, I've said it multiple times. There's nothing new under the sun, just different iterations of it. So this has been. You feel me? Yeah. So this has been happening for a long time. You know, you what you see online is not what you get in real life. And so for me, in most cases, yeah. So for me, it has to be stopped, because, and for more reasons than one, not just because men losing their confidence in what they're double tapping on social media, but it also must be stopped because, like I said, you have this individual that's controlling, or that's the creator of Emily, making $10,000 a month because of something that was computer generated. I mean, I know we're moving into the era and ushering in the era of AI generation, of the meta universe and all of that. And so eventually we're going to have two completely different lives. You know, everybody, not just some online, it's going to have two completely different lives, where what you do, what you do in the real world is who you are. And then what you do in the metaverse is you can be somebody completely different. Mm-hmm. But this here is just complete manipulation of confidence, of emotions, of I don't even know, of desires, stuff like that. Because it's like it said, what is the average man? And in this case, I'm imagining this average white man's. What's the average man's dream girl? So you could, I mean, just think about it. You could do that across all races. You could do that for both genders. What's the average woman's dream man, and produce this and just prey on our desires. And it's kind of telling of who we are as individuals too, and where we are as far as our online presence and our online activity and what we look for when we go online. But I mean, we're so open and so have the ability to connect with so many individuals because of social media, and see different ethnicities and different types of beauty, or what the standard of beauty is changed to some degree. So to me, it has to be stopped though, because it's just, you're going to have a bunch of people that are preying on individuals and utilizing their desire. But
and it could go both ways. It could definitely go both ways. Just like you said, it could be what scares me though. What if it's a man that created
it? Well, I think it is.
Really? Okay. I didn't know.
They don't know. They don't know who that person is anonymous right now. Mm-hmm. But I would imagine it is.
I would imagine so too. I don't think there's not too many. Well, I can't say that. I don't think it would be a woman that would create the man's dream girl. Like, I don't know. It could possibly be, but if it's
be a woman, but
if it's a man that created Emily Pellegrini that's making these $10,000 based off of just feeding off of some men's desires and incapabilities to get a woman in real life and shit like that, like that's kind of sick, low key. Yeah. But you could do it. You could do it for what is the average woman's dream man, like you said, and that could be a woman making money off of, maybe the same thing with women. So it's like this is scary. It has to be stopped. It definitely
has to be stopped. It has to be stopped. But then to answer the second question, if I'm the person that they're superimposing and deep faking that AI generated face on, and they're using my body, my pictures, whatnot, I want my money cash. In my hand right now. Because I mean, how is this any different? How is that any different from somebody spinning up a fake profile using your pictures and trying to scam your friends into sending you money? And you can say, no, I don't want. You can say this person isn't real. They're using my pictures to do XYZ, and it gets taken down. How is this any different from somebody creating art, music, literature, and you plagiarize that? How is that any different? So definitely, I want my cut or I want the page down automatically. So she should, this AI generated Emily Pellegrini should have never been able to get 237,000 followers on Instagram and use my images on FanView in order to make money.
Damn. So you got 237,000 followers. This page had to be up for at least a year.
No, 4 months.
4 months. And this motherfucker's made 40K already?
Yeah. That's what I read in the articles. That actually, when I read the article, it was produced on January 1st. At that time, they had 134,000 followers, I want to say. And now on January 12th, today's the 13th, but when the 12th, they had 237,000 followers.
That's insane. Yeah, it's got to be stopped. It's got to be stopped.
Yeah.
Got to be stopped.
Yeah. Listen, man. AI bots are rapidly taking over the fast food industry too, sticking with the AI theme.
I think you might be talking about McDonald's. Mickey D's.
Well, so my experience was in Florida at Checkers, and then recently here at Bojangles. So all across the country, and other fast food and other quick service restaurants are rapidly adding bots to their front and back house operations.
Mm-hmm.
With work shortages of everyone in the retail industry as a whole since the pandemic, restaurants are hoping AI bots can help offset their labor.
Okay.
So let me ask you this, Sticks. Have you ever encountered ordering from an AI bot?
I haven't encountered it.
At a fast food restaurant? You haven't?
I have not. Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. So let me tell you about my experience.
What's up?
So when I went to, the first time I had ever encountered an AI bot was in Coral Springs, Florida, at Checkers. Mm-hmm. And when you pull up to the window or the wherever you order, and you expect to say, hey, you expect a human to say, hey, welcome to XYZ. What can I get for you today, right? Wasn't the case in that particular encounter that I had with it. It was, hey, welcome to XYZ. Would you like to try our blah, blah, blah today? Mm-hmm. No, I don't want that. Okay. How can I help you? Right? Order. Everything was smooth. It was fine. But then you get to the window and you talk to a lady like, when y'all start doing that? They so daggone mad about it. They're like, man, that thing get paid more than me. And then we end up having to correct they paid more for it. That's what they're saying. They paid more for it than they pay them. And then they say, and then we end up having to correct the order most of the times in XYZ. So that was my first experience with it in Coral Springs, Florida. Fast forward here in North Carolina at Bojangles. The exact same setup. Hi, welcome to Bojangles. Would you like to try our spicy chicken sandwich today? No. Okay. How can I help you? Order. Make my order, right? Go to the window. It's new to me here in North Carolina. Like I was like, damn, when did they get that? Because I go to Bojangles a little, I would say often, never had that. And so I'm like, yo, what's this? When y'all start that? It's like, we've had it for a while. But it's same thing. We end up correcting the order all the time. So I just want to make sure that you got it right, that I got this right. You had XYZ. Yeah, that's right. So the AI is taking over, man. I just feel like I thought you would have had an experience, especially being in Seattle, but you haven't experienced. Well, get ready, bro, because it's from what I've read online, it's rapidly starting to take over in the fast food industry because of the shortages that are happening in the retail space specifically, but in fast food restaurants as well. So not only are they taking orders, now I haven't experienced this, they're making the food in the back end too. I haven't experienced that. I haven't looked back there and saw any AIs, any bots flipping burgers or dumping fries or shucking, not shucking, but cutting up vegetables and stuff like that. But I have experienced twice now bots taking my order, and I don't like it. It's the same monotonous. It feels like the same monotonous, sterile interaction across the board and anywhere you go. So
it doesn't seem very customer service driven, because it just sounds, and like you said, if the census across the board is the actual people who work in the restaurant are having to constantly correct this AI bot that's not getting the order right at the window, then why would we even have this? Why can't we have somebody? And I get it. Human error happens. We're flawed, and we're a flawed species. We have flaws. We're not perfect. I get it. But at the same time, if the AI isn't to the point of cutting out human error, then why would we have it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would much rather a human get it wrong and have that interaction with somebody real, in opposed to having an actual robot that's not supposed to make mistakes. Technically, it's not supposed to make these same mistakes and still make them. Why would I want that? Because I even heard. Oh, go ahead.
No, go.
But the thing that I noticed was, the thing that I saw on social media was that there was a McDonald's that rolled out an all AI location. Like, it was for, like you said, from the back end. From the back end, they fixing the food. They taking your order. They in the back end, the AI bots are fixing the food, cooking the food for you, and then they're sliding it out to you, like on a conveyor belt or like a slide, and it comes down and you just pick your order up. There's no workers in this location. I forget where it was. I hadn't looked at it, but I forget where it was. But I was like, that is insane. And that's the thing that I told you about AI, is that I'm scared that it's going to start taking over jobs, not the crazy jobs like the higher up CEO type jobs, but for the people who work in fast food and in retail and some of these other jobs that maybe even some blue collar jobs they might end up starting to take, like building the skyscrapers and the paving the roads and things of that nature. They could possibly do that too. So it's like there's a lot of jobs that are going to be taken because of AI eventually. That's what I'm scared of.
Yeah. I think the conventional thinking, or I don't even know if this is conventional thinking, just the thinking of the corporations is, especially in these, where I said the fast food industry is experiencing shortages of workers. I think they're thinking, even if it's making mistakes, I'd rather have something in place that's helping me get stuff done than having nobody at all, or making customers have a double bad experience by having to wait in long lines or wait long periods of time to receive their food at a fast food restaurant, or not having the food completed at all, So I think that's their thinking, but I'm with you. I don't like the fact that already we're moving in that direction of, we're essentially finding ways to replace workers. And, people have to make a way of living as well. And I understand, like, we're moving more to depend on technology to help us do the repetitive jobs that there are. And pretty soon they're going to, hopefully not, but, if the thought process is how it is now, if it continues to go, eventually we're going to replace ourselves altogether in the work industry, the workforce.
Right.
Then, how are we going to make that living? The question I always want to know, or I would like to know, and maybe you can enlighten or not, I don't know, it's just something that I just thought of, is what would happen if everybody that, frequents these restaurants, when they hear the AI bot, they just say, nah, I'm good. I'll go somewhere else. What if we all boycotted these industries where AI is being used and we no longer spend our money there? Would that be an emphasis for any of these industries, restaurant, whatever the case may be, to say, all right, we need to make a change. Because if your customers aren't coming there because of you using the AI bot and you're displacing jobs, then, you know, it might make you change your mind because your profit is going down but boycott it. But I mean, I don't know if that would really work because they would just
motherfuckers with more AI.
Replace it with, right, exactly. And and that's why I was like, okay, well then what if the customer is boycotting?
That's who's going to have to boycott. That's who's going to have to boycott. Yeah. The customer's going to have to boycott. You're going to have to take money out of their hands. But to be perfectly honest with you, the way AI is going, say for instance, right now, say that the experience that you had at Bojangles and Checkers down in Coral Springs. If somebody says, if they come on with the, hi, how are you? Would you like to try our chicken sandwich? No? Okay. How can I help you? If we have that dry ass fucking response every time people just start driving off, all they're going to do is they're going to have somebody to program it and make it better. I don't think AI is ever going to stop. Right. I don't think AI is ever going to stop, bro. They're just going to program it to make it sound like me and you. Hey, what up, bro? You tried the chicken sandwich today? Nah? I bet. What you having, bro? It's going to be something, you know, it's a tight shit. Right. You know, that'd be funny too. Like if it's like me and you driving up to the lane. It should just be being silly. If it's me and you driving up to the lane and then the AI voice come on out like, hey, what up, bro? What you eating today, cuz? But then fucking Becky drive up. Hey girl, how you doing? A Valley girl. Like
listen. So that was another thing that I read. That was another thing that I read, that eventually it's going to get to the point where as you drive up, based off of your previous orders, it's going to be able to just dwindle the list down to what you typically order.
To suggest what you typically order, that you know what? That would be dope. Not gonna lie, that would be actually kind of dope. But I don't want you to I don't want you to, you know, automatically assume what I'm gonna order. Nigga, I might want something different this time. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But I don't think it's gonna be like, this is what you ordered last time. I think it's gonna be like, this is what you ordered last time you were here. Would you like the same thing? No? Okay, cool. Clear that out. What are you ordering? Type shit. I think that's what it's gonna be. That wouldn't be all bad. It wouldn't be all bad. I don't think that would.
I don't know. I don't know how. I don't like it, man. I mean,
I don't like it either. Though.
I will say it was fairly efficient. But I like the. It's certain things I like human interaction with. When I 100%. Go to a fast food restaurant, I want human interaction because if you got an attitude or not, because guess what? If you want to have an attitude, I ain't gonna have an attitude, but I'm gonna play with you a little bit when I get to the window. I'm gonna ask you a question just to get you to smile or something like that. Cause I understand, like, y'all deal with stuff on an ongoing basis that's kind of crazy. And so I like that human interaction. Every other human interaction, I really don't care about, but we kind of ushered in the use of AI by using these teleprompters, or not teleprompters, but when you call into businesses and you
automated services,
automated machines, automated services and whatnot. So we kind of ushered it in and allowed that use to be spread everywhere. But now I think it's starting to get out of hand. I'm still not entirely scared and worried about the AI generation and what's to come down the road yet. Man. I'm waiting for one thing, and then once that hits, I'm like, okay, yeah, we need to be concerned.
Exactly.
Sticking with the futuristic theme that I've gone on right now.
Okay,
we're inching closer to seeing flying cars.
Where have you seen this at?
Yeah. Okay. So
let me get Emily
just recently.
On my damn screen, flying cars. I need to search for flying cars.
So just recently, I'm gonna say it wrong. Alif Aeronautics became the first company in America to be cleared to accept pre-orders for their flying car concept. The car is 100% electric. It's called the Model A. It can drive up to 200 miles and fly up to 110 miles. The pre-order will be $300,000. And then Alif has a You said that's it.
I would think this would be so. I would think it would be more expensive. Honestly, I would think it would be more expensive.
$300,000.
I say that
that's more than a house.
Finish up.
So the company has a proprietary electric propulsion system, and they're set to start production in the fourth quarter of 2015. So my question to you for this one, do you think we're ready for flying cars?
Hell no.
Hell no. Hell no.
No, we are not ready for flying cars. It's motherfuckers out here that's pilots that ain't ready to be pilots, let alone fly. People that got regular damn driver's licenses flying cars. Hell no. Do you know what the mortality rate of that damn thing would be? It would be insane. No, bro, we are not ready for that. We need to ease into that shit. Hey, and to be perfectly honest with you, I think $300K is too fucking affordable. I'm not gonna lie to you. That shit is way too. I think it's too affordable, bro. That shit didn't need to be 3 times that price. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. It needs to be $1 million to buy because it's way too dangerous. It's way too dangerous. $300K is way too affordable to me. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think that's too affordable.
That's the price of a Lamborghini or a Porsche or something that is too affordable. It's too that's too close to a common car's price, bro. It's too close to a common car's price.
This is the thing with that though. Is yes, it's the price of a Lamborghini or a Porsche, but most people that have these cars or that you think have these cars, they've leased it or they've rented it. I think you need to pay more than average down payment for this. It needs to be like you need to pay more than half of this price to get this car. I also think you should not have the ability to lease or rent it. If you got this car, you have to own it outright.
I can agree with that.
And so that would eliminate all of the nonsense that has you got to have the money for it. And now this is a generalization, but you would think that most people with money are a bit more. Nah, they're reckless as hell too.
They reckless as fuck. I'm about to say don't say that
too. They reckless as hell too. But yeah, but at least you would have to have the money, and that would knock out a lot of the nonsense. But I too am like you. Ain't no way we ready for this. Now, when we were younger, you would have thought by now we would have had a flying car.
Facts.
But that just proves to me we ain't ready for it because we haven't seen it yet. But I mean, you got people that can barely walk next to somebody without an altercation.
You feel me?
Occurring. It's so like, now you're gonna introduce a flying car. You're gonna have it's a lot of mortalities that happen with cars on the road. So now you're talking about cars on the road and then something falling out of the sky.
It's not funny, but it's funny.
It's not. Oh, I know my car. I got a little bit more juice. I can fly a little bit longer. You
know who that would be? Me.
Hell no, we ain't ready for this, man.
That would be me because I do that shit all the time. My car be saying, my car didn't even give me a mileage, like a mileage per gallon, or how many miles that I got until empty. It'll have 2 dashes. And I'm still like, I got it. I'm straight.
I got it. Yeah, no, man. Too many people live dangerously, man. Ain't nobody ready for that shit.
I'm telling you.
Think about it. Forbes said that, according to Forbes, there's 278 million personal and commercial vehicles on the road. Just imagine a quarter of that are flying cars. 69 million. We ain't ready for that. We're not ready for that.
Not to mention road rage. And you gonna have sky rage now? Like,
we're
not ready for that. It's too many unstable people in this world to have flying cars. Like, that would be so insane. And just like you said, bro, I would be the one plummeting to my death because I know how much gas my car still got in it. I'd be doing that. I swear I'd be doing that. I would be that nigga. That would be me. That would legit. We're not ready for that. There's no. I'm not gonna have one, no way. So I'm not interested in it. Not that I don't aspire to make the money to get it, but I'm just not interested in having that. Why would I have that? That is crazy. That has nothing. I have no problem driving wherever the fuck I need to go. Those 110 miles, I can drive those. I'm not getting in that sky, cuz I'm not getting in that sky, dog. I'm not doing that. Like, crazy. but what other what do you think would be like some other certifications that you would have to actually purchase this? Because I agree with you. You shouldn't be able to lease it. You shouldn't be able to rent it. And you probably have to put a substantial down payment to actually purchase it. But other than a driver's license do you need to have this? Like, do you need an aero?
Yeah,
do you need do you need a fucking pilot's license? Do you need that? Do you need some kind of do you need to go through extensive training to actually figure out how to actually fly and drive this thing and land it and all
right? Yeah, you probably would need that. That's a great question. You probably would. It would require an additional license as well in order to get the car. So I think in most states, I know here in North Carolina, when you get a car or when you go to get a car, you have to have proof of insurance. Mm-hmm. And you also, you was in the car. I was in the car. Yeah, proof of insurance and all those different type of documents. And before you can even try to apply for the car, or when you get it, you have to have all that information. So now you have to prove that you have your, whatever the term would be, your flying license as well as your driver's license, and then proof of insurance, because it's probably going to that would spend another insurance industry.
Yes,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah. So yeah, and you have to have both of those insurance policies as well. So yeah.
You have to have in certain extreme instances, you have to have a lot of proof of something. You have to have, like you said, proof of driver's license, proof of insurance, proof of residence, proof of income. You have to have a lot of proofs to prove that that you can buy this car, bro. Right. You would have to have so many proofs to buy this flying car. Aero insurance, flight insurance, I don't even know what that's called. What is that even called?
Right.
What is that? Nah, we're not ready.
Yeah.
We're not ready.
We ain't ready for it. No. We ain't ready for it.
No. We're not ready for that, cuz.
Look like a scene from Mars Attack with all these dang cars flying around and falling out the sky.
The damn cars flying around in 6 cents and crashing into each other. Hell no.
Right.
Ain't no way we do this, cuz.
Nah. So the consensus is we're not ready for it.
No, we're not. No.
Okay, cool. We ain't ready. Stakes episode 52. Too complex in the books.
In the books, fam.
Yeah, man. I mean,
yes, sir.
I don't know what to say about, we typically think a lot of our podcasts are great. Mm-hmm. And then we get on, put the segments on YouTube. We got people coming at our neck.
Man, what's wrong with folk? I mean, this is the thing though. This is what I'm starting to realize.
I ain't want to get into it, but I thought I'd mention that.
It's all good. We can talk about it for a couple of minutes. This is what I'm starting to realize, and I think we've said this in our good, bad, and ugly, and we said this a little bit last week as well. If y'all get to this point of this video, because this video about to be 2 hours and 10 minutes long, and that's fine. That's cool. This is the long form. We can give y'all the segments.
Nah, it ain't be that long.
But, true. So, what we starting to realize about the people who watch our channel, the 87% of men that watch this channel, then 13% of women, the other 13% of women that watch this channel, y'all want us to give y'all this information in the first 90 seconds because y'all attention span is very, very low. Y'all don't want to watch 11 minutes of a video. Y'all want to watch the first 90 seconds. So, this is what we're going to start doing. We're going to give y'all some facts in 90 seconds. And if y'all want to hear our opinion on those facts, you can listen to the rest of the video. We're not giving y'all everything in 90 seconds. Expand your attention just a little bit, if you would, because it's the length of a flea that y'all have of an attention. It's a flea's attention that y'all have right now. Read a book, listen to a video, grab some information. Sit down for a second and actually listen to somebody else's opinion because y'all don't have this platform. We appreciate y'all for watching our platform, but y'all don't have this platform. Y'all don't have the confidence to come on and be in front of a camera and have an opinion about something, but y'all will hide behind those keyboards and talk. Listen to what we got to say. Listen to what we got to say before you form an opinion, because it's clear in these comments that y'all not watching the video because everything y'all comment that we have already said. So just listen for a sec. Just listen for 1 second, if you don't mind. Not one. No. You know what? Don't even listen for a second. Listen for 10 minutes. Because if I say a second, y'all actually take that second and just turn the video off. Just listen to what we got to say, because y'all's comments, we actually said we agree with y'all because we say it in the video all the time, but y'all just don't listen. Y'all don't get far enough in the video to realize that we said what you think we didn't say. So just listen for it. Just listen for a few minutes, dog. Just listen.
Yeah. I mean, the name of the podcast is Too Complex. So there are times where we argue both sides, and we do it very well, I think. I mean, there are times when we have missteps or we missay things, but it's very rare.
Very, very
or
rare.
we may miss a fact that came out after we recorded the video. So, I mean, we appreciate y'all tuning in to Too Complex, viewing our segments that we put on YouTube, looking or even, getting engaged with the content. But before you decide to make your comments, just give us a little bit more time, see if we say it. And if we don't say it, if you come to us in the comments with something we didn't say and we didn't say it, we will acknowledge that we didn't say it or that we messed up. We will acknowledge that. We have no issue with that. But if we said something that you said and then we ask you, what didn't we say? And you can't give us the response of what we didn't say. Shut up.
Because we go start. We're literally going to start challenging y'all. And we're going to put timestamps in the comments because D-Lo started doing that a couple of weeks ago. We're going to start putting timestamps. If you say we dumb and we don't know what we talking about and you make a comment, we're going to say, you know what? At 4:35, we actually made the same comment. So what are you talking about? Explain yourself, please.
Anyway,
we're going to start challenging y'all. But anyway,
get that off our chest. That's off our chest now. We want to thank you for tuning in to Too Complex.
For sure.
Remember that life is too short and oftentimes complex. But when it becomes complex, don't forget to lean on those, or don't be afraid to lean on those that you love the most, to help you find simplicity and balance in life. Stay prayed up in this crazy world. A few requests sent above can bring down peace and sanity. Thanks for loving us and supporting this podcast. However you support it, we really do appreciate it. It means a lot to us. We're sending our love right back to you. Don't forget to subscribe on whatever podcast platform that you listen to. You can also follow us on all of our social media channels, which is YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. As always, if it ain't too complex, it ain't complex at all. We appreciate you for tuning in to this podcast. We'll see you when we see you. Until next time, salute.